Everybody ready to hear me talk shit about an industry that I've been trying to get into for about 2.5 years? Yes? Good. Now, some of you readers may already know this just by how some of my content is crafted. But for some of you out there who are unaware, one of my biggest inspirations for how I've crafted my channel is The Daily Show, both the Jon Stewart era and the Trevor Noah era. As a matter of fact, wanting to both craft and host a late night show based around geek and nerd culture and news is something that I really want to do as far as growing this channel. Of course, it all depends on the right person or people to find and watch my shit. Get in contact with me. And like me enough to just deliver an entire truckload of money to my front door. But that's just wishful thinking. So as a fan of the late night style of TV shows, I was initially interested when I found out that streaming services were going to get into the game. But the one that made me initially interested as far as how they were going to pull it off considering how they established themselves was Netflix. Because obvious reason is obvious. You see, I was initially curious at how a streaming service known for allowing you to binge watch multiple seasons of TV shows and movies at a time was going to pull off like nightly or weekly episodes of a late night show, which was what initially attracted me to their very first attempt, Chelsea. As far as the content was concerned, I initially was following Chelsea Handler from E! Over to Netflix, so the transition was kind of easy for me. And it definitely helped me keep an open mind as far as how I was going to dig their overall system as far as this was concerned. And while I initially thought that the show was okay, I have to admit it was very hard for me to wait for new episodes on a streaming service known for me to have all the episodes at my disposal. It was definitely weird trying to see them take that function that works on television and adapt it to Netflix. Apparently I wasn't the only one on board this train because after 2 seasons, Chelsea was cancelled in October of last year. But as you would imagine, that wasn't enough to get Netflix to stop trying to find their way of getting into the late night talk show game. Because they soon gave Joel McHale and Daily Show alum Michelle Wolf talk shows of their own. With the Joel McHale Show featuring Joel McHale airing in mid-February of this year, and The Break with Michelle Wolf airing mid-May of this year. But just like the Chelsea Handler prototype that came before them, both shows were cancelled. But unlike Chelsea, who had 2 seasons, both McHale and Wolf shows had less than 1 each. So with Netflix about to establish yet another Daily Show alum with their own late night talk show in the form of Patriot Act with Hasan Minhaj, I honestly can't help but to ask, should they even? And personally, I don't think so. Not because of the comedian slash host, mind you, but because of the way Netflix is established. You see, the way this Netflix is set up, first and foremost, is for binge watching. Regardless if this was their intention moving on from the mail service that they established early in the early 2000s to what it is now. And honestly, that's what people expect from them. Nobody goes into Netflix with the mentality of only watching 1 episode of a series and then waiting 1 or 2 days for the new one. That's not what we're paying for. When it comes to their competitor Hulu, however, it works a bit differently. Mostly because they have a bit more freedom with establishing a late night talk show for the streaming service because of how it's set up. Hulu does the whole new episodes a day after it airs on TV thing. Hulu does the whole ad or no ad in the places where it's scheduled to have ads depending on how much you're paying. Hulu's late night shows like I Love You America with Sarah Silverman work for this platform because the platform was designed to work for shows like that. Netflix, on the other hand, while great for original content in its own right, just doesn't work that way. And a lot of it has to do with how we, the consumers, treat it in our own right. Right now, the only show that's currently experimenting with a hybrid of binge watching and traditional television is Matt Groening's Disenchantment by taking a mid-season break after releasing the first half of season 1 for our binge watching pleasure, which has just enough wiggle room to work in what Netflix is versus what Netflix wants to be. But if they really want to get into the late night talk show game, then they're going to have to do a lot of work as far as keeping audience retention. Whether or not the consumers are going to agree with that work in order to make that happen is an entirely different show on its own. But I digress, readers. Your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comment section below why you think late night talk shows don't work on Netflix if they're different than mine. Or if you feel like validating my inner Leo, write in the comment section below what the name of my late night talk show would be. If you want to help support the channel, you can purchase official merchandise by clicking the card at the end of the video or in the link in the description down below. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.